So today I am going to talk about the complications I mentioned but never really finished. There was, I remember saying it and I don't remember elaborating on it. So there was this one day, it was before my stem cell transplant, so back in I think April or May, and I was actually in my sister's bedroom and she was setting up a PVR for me so I could watch TV in her bedroom instead of walking to the living room and going out there. So we were talking, and then all of a sudden my head turns to my left side like that, and all I could say was like I knew what was going on. I didn't exactly know what it was, but all I said was, "Sandy, I can't move." And then I don't remember anything. She called the ambulance, and she I had another seizure when I was getting put into the ambulance from the stretcher. And then there was another seizure when I was at the U of A hospital before they gave me any of the epilepsy drugs. Then they gave me one of the traditional ones, like the one that's used for a lot of the people with epilepsy. They gave me a few doses of that and a few doses of Ativan, so I was completely out of it, which was really funny because my brother actually told me that the emergency room doctor was actually just about to give me a lumbar puncture and he was cleaning my back with iodine, and I thought he already went in. Like, for a lumbar puncture, which is a spinal tap, they actually have to get into the crevice that your spinal tap, like, because you have bones that connect it all. So they have to get into one of the crevices and they suck out spinal fluid to test it, and it's kind of creepy. Like, it feels weird. Not that fun, but I had another seizure right before he actually put the needle in. So if he had put the needle in and I had a seizure, I probably would have a needle stuck in my back, which is not cool. But they gave me more Keppra and more Ativan. Keppra is the drug, like the newer version of the epilepsy drug. So I was completely gone. Like, I think for 2 days I was asleep and I was up in the neurology ward, and it kind of, well, it's good for me that it actually wasn't, but the doctors thought that the cancer had spread to my spinal fluid, which probably would have messed up my nervous system like completely, because it's not a tumor. They can't just target it with radiation. It would have been like in the cells. um yeah, so it didn't turn out to be that. It was actually caused by my leukemia. There was a blood clot in the right side of my brain, which corresponds to the left side of my body, and that's why I couldn't move it. And they put me on Keppra, and I've been on, well, they tapered me off a few months ago, which is good because my doctor said he didn't want me on it during school. So that's one of the complications. Everything's good now. Like, I had to take a blood thinner for a few months, I think 6 months. So a blood thinner is actually injected into me. So, and I have, before all of this, I had the biggest fear of needles. Like, it was ridiculous. I would cry at the sight of one, no matter if it was going into someone else or going into me. And they gave me injections. I had to do one injection every single day, probably like in my stomach area, just like squeeze and poke. And it was horrible. Like, I just got my blood taken today, actually. If you can see it, there's like a little dot right there. And I don't even care anymore. Like, it doesn't matter to me. So, yeah, that's one of the complications. I'm happy it's over with now. And I will talk to you guys soon.